Hey folks, Troy Dooley here, the Beachside CEO, and I am joined by my bestest buddy, Jef Welch, the CEO of Biotonus and the founder of Welch Family Homestead. Jef, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Troy. Hey, my buddy.
I'm so jealous. Every time we talk, every time I see you on the tractor, or just like right now, that's got to be the most calming place to be in the world.
God has a way of making every day beautiful in so many ways.
And I can see that. I mean, it's great. Hey, how's your rooster? I haven't heard him.
Well, he's somewhere. He's probably looking for the hens. He has his own attitude. Or, of course, he might be just fussing with a dog right now. I got the dog put up, and he's sometimes antagonizing the dog from one side of the fence to the other.
You showed me the other day where they were fighting over food in the same bowl.
The dog will eat the chicken's food, and the chickens will eat the dog's food. I'm not a very good trainer, Troy. not in animal life.
I was going to say, no, wait a minute.
I've been training people all my life, but for some reason, I'm not very good at training animals.
Oh, Lordy, Lordy. Well, talking about training people, hey, it seems like we're in a new era of direct sales, and I want you to give me some insight on that. What do you see right now with what's going on in the direct sales industry?
You know, I hear a lot of people saying that network marketing and MLM, direct sales, whatever one wants to title it, that they say, and I hear it over and over and over, MLM is dead or network marketing is dead. You know what, Troy? I heard people say that back in the 80s. I heard people say that in the 90s. I heard people say that 20 years ago. I've heard people say it every year, the entire 45 years that I've been in the industry. And I'm gonna give you my opinion. There's times that our industry needs to have a good, fresh set of tires and a new paint job. And
Sure.
Where we're at in the industry today, I believe one of the common mistakes that happens is people don't have the perspective of longevity in their processing of how they do the business. Everyone wants to be a millionaire overnight, or everyone wants to be the guy on the stage overnight. And that, you know how it is in our industry. I mean, people go to a network marketing event, they hear someone on the stage, they get bathed with a warm bath of enthusiasm, and before you know it, they buy the big package. And then they ask their person that is their sponsor, you know, what do I do? And a lot of times the sponsor will say, well, I don't know. I just joined last week. They're going to try in their mind to figure it out when it's already figured out. You just have to plug into people who know how to do it, but they don't know who those people are. They just know who their sponsor was. And that's when we have a lot of fallout in our industry. And that's one of the things that you just asked me, you know, how's our industry? I mean, I think that we have missing links. We've taken the lazy man approach. It's almost like somebody carrying groceries out of a grocery store, and they've got 20 bags on each arm, you know, trying to get to the car with it. We used to call that the lazy man's load. That's what my mother called it. Sometimes the lazy man's load means you're carrying more than you need to in a shorter period of time instead of spacing it out. And the problem with that is a lazy man's load increases the risk of risks. It's always going to cause potential issues. And when you take methodical approaches, you have a much better success rate of getting to the car with the grocery bags without any of them bursting and spilling and busting a gallon of milk on the pavement in the parking lot.
That makes sense.
So, and I know I have a lot of allegorical type phrases in my speech here, but that's just my nature. And growing up on the farm and in the country, my grandfather, that's the way he spoke. That's the way my father spoke. That's the way everyone around me kind of spoke. So I guess that's the way I am as well. Everything is allegorical. Everything's illustrative to me, and I believe that people right now, that's what they're missing, is that personal approach where they can actually experience illustrative instruction before they start making mistakes and they get disgusted with their experience, and then they drop out, and before you know it, then they're spreading information, and we are in that world right now of misinformation.
Yeah.
And our world of network marketing has been the world of misinformation for many years. When people have a bad experience, they start sharing it as if everybody's going to have a bad experience.
That is true. But we see this, and maybe I'm wrong, Jeff, correct me if I am, but it seems like any profession where people are involved, it can be network marketing, it could be a nonprofits or the church, a ministry, anywhere where it's just lots of people that are involved. It seems like misinformation constantly just brews to where then people are making judgment calls based on half truths, innuendos, facts that don't line up with the truth, is what it seems like sometimes.
Troy, anytime you have a business model or an organizational model, I might say, doesn't matter if it is a church or if it's the Lions Club or the Elks Club or
Right.
whatever club you want to say. It could be the golf club. It doesn't matter. Anytime there is a larger organization where people are gathering together, it is chaos without some type of guidelines and rules to go by of how they treat each other and how that they should adapt to certain principles and teachings of how to do things a certain way so that everyone is going in the same direction. If you're going to have an organization of 1,000 people with 1,000 people going in 1,000 different directions, that's not really what I would call an organization. That's what I call an unorganization.
Yeah.
Organization and organized comes from the same root word. Same exact root word, organized, organization. And when you put a lot of people together in any type of business model, that's what you would call an organization. Some people call it a downline. I choose to call it an organization. If someone has a downline in a company, I don't use the word downline. I say, how large is your organization? How's your organization doing? And organization means two different things. It's either your behavior, it's an adjective, or it is a noun, pretty much, of a group of people. If there's anything that the church world instilled into us, it's the same thing that we're talking about.
Yeah.
You know how to work with people because you know how to pull everyone together to do a thing a certain way. It wouldn't matter if it was a church or if it's a softball team.
It's true.
Not everybody can play the pitcher in a softball team. Not everybody can play first base. It'd be really crowded on first base if everybody wanted to be first baseman.
Yep.
Somebody has to be the catcher. Somebody has to play out right field. Everybody's part of that team. And it's always when you win a game, it's never a celebration of one person winning that game. It's the celebration of the entire team winning that game.
Now let me ask something, because when we were really cutting our teeth in this industry and we were growing up in it, that's exactly what it was. There might be a leader of the team, but it was the team that was getting celebrated and it was going forward. A lot of what I see today, it's not about a team. It's about an individual out there hooting and tooting about all that he's or she's doing. Is that part of our glitch that we've got right now in this industry?
It is, because we're in a different generation right now. 72%, according to the DSA, of the people who are in the industry of direct sales are not baby boomers anymore.
Right.
And the baby boomer generation, mixing on over into the X generation, are the ones who later on in life experience the infiltration of the internet and the web-based lifestyle that we all have today. And then you have your Y generation, has never known a world without it. And if you look at the Y generation today, well, look at the statistics. Out of those 71% of our industry, 71%, that's overwhelming. We used to say that 71% was the baby boomer population of our industry. Yeah. Now that is not the case. The baby boomers only take up about 17% of our industry. Well, out of that 71%, that's from 25 years of age to 54 years of age. That's 71% of our industry that has pretty much, you can bank on the fact that over half of those, probably all of them by the time that they were adults, had the internet.
Sure, absolutely.
We have moved away from the team approach of everyone supporting it based off of the tools and the leadership development. What I mean by leadership development, we didn't depend on one leader. We developed each other.
Yep.
We rose each other up. If you didn't rise up leaders within the cell groups that you were creating so that they could take over a new satellite of a group out there and keep expanding the groups and keep rising more and more leaders up, you didn't have an organization that was viable. It was actually on the edge of collapse. And that's where we're at right now. That's why you see a lot of companies that last very short periods of time. That's why you see the bell curves extremely sharp up and extremely sharply down in our industry, where teams don't last long, because it only takes, when you depend on one ego, that means one person can get upset, one person can get beside themselves emotionally, one person can be not where they need to be mentally,
Yep.
connected, devoted, dedicated, committed, and it can ruin an entire organization based off of one person's behaviors or their actions. It wasn't like that when we were in the game earlier in the industry. And
What you just explained, I see that at certain times with the executives in companies, not just the people in the field. It's like the executives make the business all about them, or the reps are making the business all about them, and all these people in between get left behind.
that's when you're having issues around the corner.
And it's not all of them, but a lot of times the executives and the CEOs, they forget about those internal teams. They're not looking at, hey, how can we reward our employees, all of our team members? There's a way to reward them based on the volume and the growth of the business too. I remember a few years ago, Frank Vandersloot over at Melaleuca rewarded his employees based on the years that they had been there, starting from 1 year all the way up to the beginning of the company. And I mean, they were making tens of thousands of dollars in bonuses. He was thanking them for all of the hard work inside. And even today, I've got the orthodontist of my baby girls, and every year they shut the business down for 2 weeks. He takes his daughter who has spinal bifida, his wife, him, and all these ladies, and they go somewhere on a big trip, and it's his way of thanking them for what they do. And he pays them for there so that they can actually enjoy, their families get to go. It's a wonderful thing. And I think if we can take business principles and apply them in direct sales, because direct sales is an industry. There's laws that were passed by Congress for direct sales, and yet I see so many, usually it's reps that get pissed off in the field that say, I can do it better. And they go out and they try to, put a company together. And sometimes the bell curve, like you said, it goes up, and then it just goes down. And when you look around, you realize, well, man, you didn't take care of your inside people. You really didn't have a business plan. You just got pissed off at somebody else, kind of like a church split. Well, I don't want to go, I can do this better. I know what I'm doing. Well, no, man, that's crazy. What other mistakes do you see being made out there from companies?
The one that I see made over and over and over is the decision of how to roll out what I would call bell curves. And I've seen it happen over and over and over with companies that were viable, companies that had it going well, companies that got up to 800, 900 million a year overnight, but didn't play off the fact of making good decisions that was going to keep them going for the next 10 years. And what was that common mistake? It's that they drink their own punch.
Oh, yeah.
They'll have a product that they think is just, it cures the world, it cures every disease, it cures every situation. It will cause you to get remarried again if you're divorced. It's amazing how that sometimes people drink their own punch. I mean, I'm drinking our product right now. I love it. And it's a good formula. And I work with the science of building this product out. But it's not the only product that we're always going to have. We're going to have other products that'll roll out as well. But every product has its bell curves. And every bell curve, the reason they call it a bell curve, because it's shaped like a bell. It's going to have an incline going up in sales, up in volume, up in numbers. And it's going to have a leveling off period. And then it's going to eventually come down. That's the part that owners of companies don't want to hear. And it's going to create a layer of cake, I call it loyal product users. And those loyal product users are what builds the long-term stability of a company. We've seen this in Melaleuca. We've seen this in Young Living. We've seen this in New Skin. We've seen this in Amway, Herbalife. I can go straight on down the list of companies that I would consider legacy companies. Avon, Mary Kay. I can just go on and on and on.
Yeah.
And the reason they did is because they kept launching to create bell curve, bell curve, bell curve, bell curve out of products. You also get bell curves out of other things as well, like, okay, we're going to open up a new country, or we have something else that happens that causes other bell curves as well. Whatever it may be. Sometimes conventions can create enough excitement and renew the vigor within a team to create a bell curve as well.
That's true.
There's so many different factors that can put those bell curves into place, but the key is once you have that incline going up, a company needs to have right behind it something else starting so it can create the next bell curve and start catching up to the next one and next one and next one. As it does, it creates layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of cake, layers of loyal product users, because everyone has their favorite product in those companies, of those legacy companies. You know, you talk to Joe, he's going to have a different favorite product than Susan.
Yeah.
Jane's going to have a different favorite product than Peter and John. So all these different layers of cake of loyal product users, if people are smart, if companies are smart, over time, that's why those companies stabilize at those large numbers that we've seen, like $1 billion, $2 billion, $5 billion a year in revenue. And it's not based off of an ego trip of one leader. It's not based off of a showboat team out there in some other country, what have you. It's built off of loyal product users that stick with the company that are mostly customer based. A company is not going to create stability based off of distributors as much as it is customer based.
Let me stop you for a second, because and you just used the company names as examples, and I get that. But while you were throwing names out, I thought of something, because every company name that you brought out wasn't trying to create the next category creator, the next superfruit, the next anything. From Amway to Mary Kay to Tupperware, they all had a crusade behind them that said, look, we're going to help. We're going to help that middle America person. It didn't matter if it was a woman, if it was a man, or it was a family. And they looked at what is it that at that stage of life, whatever it was, whether it was the early days of Amway, whether it was Tupperware during the war, trying to find women a way to make money, to Mary Kay just trying to empower women. But they took products that were already being used and they made those products better, instead of trying to come out and say, look, man, I just brought out the first iPad. You just need to buy the iPad. Why have we shifted from helping people to trying to make people buy something they don't even know if they need?
No matter how we want to say it, in a network marketing company is community and belonging, because the church and network marketing is almost parallel with each other. And not everyone can be the choir director.
Sure.
Not everyone's going to be the one standing behind the pulpit. Not everyone's going to be the piano player.
Yep.
Just like a church, you're going to have a certain group that's going to be the ones on the stage singing in the choir. The rest of them is going to be in the audience. But the ones in that audience is what every one of those people in that church are doing it for.
That's true. That's true.
In network marketing, we have it backwards now. We didn't used to have it backwards. We're focused so much on the choir. We're so focused so much on the choir directors. We're so focused so much on the pianist. We're focused so much on the minister, whoever. We're not focused on who they're singing to. We're not focused on who they're talking to. We're not focused on who's filling up those pews. Now, I'm not trying to say everything's comparative to a church, but I'm just using this as an example. You've got this person that's maybe introverted or maybe feels down about their life. Maybe they just don't feel like they have a lot going on in their life. And I've seen this happen over and over and over. That person, if I were to describe them, if they were to go to a club or they go to a party and they're going to a place where they don't really know a lot of people, they're the person that's going to go over there and stand in the corner and observe and hope that somebody comes up to them and pulls them in and makes them feel like they belong.
That's true.
They'll hang out for a little while, hoping for that, and then if nothing happens, they leave more disappointed than they came.
Yep.
In life, in school, in colleges, in the way that we educate people, in a lot of different venues that we have in this world, and including a lot of our network marketing industry now, that person is still sitting over in the corner sipping on their drink until they quit.
That's true.
When used to, it didn't matter if it was a church, it didn't matter if it was a network marketing company, it didn't matter if you were poor, it didn't matter if you was rich, it didn't matter if you were not as attractive or you was very attractive, it didn't matter if you dressed really like a queen or a king, or it didn't matter if you dressed like you was homeless. If you were in a network marketing company or if you were in a church, people would come up to you and make you feel like they were one of your family.
That's true. Absolutely.
They would bring you in.
Yep.
In today's world, that's the selfie world, the let me put a filter on my life world, social media world. We have a tendency of not only filtering our image, but we filter our surroundings of people that we don't want to smell like.
We forgot where we come from. A lot of it, or they don't want to remember where they came from. They want to be posers.
If we were to go back to that moment where we pull everyone in and make everyone feel accepted, and maybe network marketing, and maybe it's the only place they can go to where people will accept them.
Yeah.
That's a component that has always been a win-win-win in our industry that has been declining ever since social media has come about. But that has been a component in our industry that has caused our industry to be so unique. Because I've seen some of those people that were that person in the corner, that person that might not ever get accepted anywhere else that a network marketing company would accept.
You know, when you think about it, network marketing is the only industry where a person can be a poser and make 6-7 figures a year. If you're an athlete, you can't do that. You got to show up every day. You got to bust your butt. You've got to go out there. But in this industry, and it's, I don't want to portray this just as a negative. I just want people to understand the people they're looking at out there sometimes that are in the selfies and they're the self-proclaimed gurus and they're all of this. They didn't build anything. They might have somebody on their team that's building like crazy. They might have 2 or 3 people that they attracted. And that's part of what the allurement is to the industry. But that person couldn't build themselves out of a wet paper bag. They were at the right place at the right time, which we all want that. But for the people that can't get it, in the old days, we weren't looking at that. In the old days, we were saying, man, I need extra training. I need to be motivated sometimes. I love this product. I remember our good friend Orrin Woodward, when him and his partners had to make a shift in their company. When they shifted as a team because they all had the same value system. They all had the same drive. They all knew what they were going to go for. And it goes back to what you said, because it was belonging. It was, okay, we're going to figure out something new so we can all make a living, but we're not going to sacrifice our principles, our values. And today, man, I tell you what, some of this, I don't see principles and values. I don't see longevity, like you said. You know, we got like 75,000 people, I think, that are making six figures or more. Well, the rest of them think there's more than that doing that. They think, oh my gosh, everybody in the industry must be making 6 and 7 figures. What's wrong with me? When most people aren't, they're just making part-time money.
And I think the greatest success that we're ignoring is the fact that our industry is the greatest leadership factory on the planet. I read a statistic just the other day that 80-something% of the people were in a job that barely paid their bills and they hated their job. 80-something%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, then that means somebody needs to find them and help them to get to the point where they're enjoying life and doing what they love to do.
You hit on something, and I don't want us to rabbit trail too much, but you know, if Jesus had prejudged, I'm not sure we'd have had 12 apostles. And I know you and I, we'd still be going to hell in a handbasket, you know, and we've got to stop prejudging people and saying, look, wherever you're at, let's go along with the journey. Let's get where you want to go, because that's what's going to change people's lives. And I don't care if it's on Main Street. I don't care if it's in rural America. I don't care where it's at. People today need an opportunity just as much as they did 40, 50 years ago when you and I were cutting teeth and getting in this industry. You know, you're out here, you were going, you called and said, I'm done. I'm going to go up to the homestead. I'm just going to build out the ranch. I'm going to have some fun stuff. You started showing me the bees that you were doing, and then you got chickens, and you drained the lake, and then you filled it back up, and then you said, hey, I'm gonna take over as CEO of this international company called Biotonus, and we're gonna build this out. And it's like, why?
You said something a minute ago about the disciples, and it fits what you're asking right now.
Okay.
When Jesus was going after the disciples, they didn't go after him.
That's right.
And he came up to people who were fishermen. He came up to people who were doing other things, and he says, just drop what you're doing and follow me.
Yep.
And they did. We hear about the stories of everyone who dropped what they were doing and followed him, but we never read those stories, because they never were written, about the people who he said the same thing to that never did follow them.
That's pretty deep right there.
Maybe there was none. Maybe everybody followed him, and it was only stories about what happened, and we never should assume that anyone told Jesus no.
Well, we know the rich young ruler was asking for some other ways of doing it besides what the Lord said, so maybe.
I have a feeling there were a lot of people that could have made their way into the Bible, but it wasn't part of the story. Yep. And sometimes I look at this industry, and you just to answer your question, I'm not a perfect person. And the Bible, thank goodness, I read the Bible from cover to cover as the greatest love story between God and mankind.
Oh, absolutely, man.
And there's not a single individual hardly in that Bible, other than a few women that seem to be saints in their own time. It seemed almost everyone, from the first king that God chose to be the king of Israel all the way to some of the disciples he chose, they were a bunch of problematic, strong-willed kids. I'm thankful that I'm part of a belief that isn't about how perfect we are, but about how perfect the person is that we follow.
Right.
So why did I decide to go with Biotonus? Why did I decide that?
Why'd you do that?
Marcus, the founder of the company, the one who started Biotonus, the main owner of Biotonus, I've known him for a long time. From Germany, lived in Spain for a while, lived in other countries, but I've known him for a long time. He was in our organization when I was over at New Ways. And and he's focused. His ambition has always been phenomenal, and he's a friend. And you Troy, you and I know what friends are.
Would you say that he's a European maverick like we're an American maverick? I mean, everything he's done in his life has been outside the box.
He's also a patriot, you know, and he's one of those who if me and you and him were in a room, we'd all be brothers in the whole scenario of where we're at. You know, we have that certain persona about us that's who we are. And I appreciate that about him. And I also know his focus is on the same things my focus is on. No harmful ingredients and products, you know, natural things. You know, we've been at war against all these toxins that are allowed in so many products with, doesn't matter if it's food or snacks or makeup or personal care products or whatever it may be. You know, we're bombarded with non-health products around us all the time.
Big time.
And so our dream here with Biotonus is not only to have good quality intake of nutritional products, but also to have products that will help take out those toxins and products that we can use that don't add the toxins to us as well. It's a whole game of putting out products that people can actually feel comfortable with, even if their children are using them. And that doesn't sound like a big deal to some people. To us, me and Marcus go way back in that mindset. I mean, the no harmful ingredient story is something that we created years and years ago, and it's merited, because look at the amount of cancer that's out there today.
Oh man, yeah.
And my brother passed away with cancer when he was 52 years old. He was my oldest brother.
Man.
Died at 52 years old. Here I am at 63, and he died at 52, and he was 8 years older than me. He lived a very short life when you get to thinking about it. And all because, you know, the doctor said, well, he was exposed to chemicals, I'm sure, because of the type of cancer he had and why he owned convenience stores. I don't think it's just him. I think all of us are exposed to chemicals.
Absolutely.
And we need a strong voice out there in the world telling this story. How that we need to be aware of the ingredients in products. We need to learn how to read our labels. When I was first looking at this concept years ago, my first child was already a teenager, pretty much. And when I started studying this concept of all the harmful ingredients that are in products, I mean, Troy, we put Vaseline on the babies' heads to keep their head moist and what have you, and make their hair curly or whatever, you know, when they were babies. That's just pure petroleum. That's why I call it petroleum jelly.
That's it. Right
and
there.
When I started studying it and all the different ingredients and all the snacks that we gave them and the things that we put on their body and the baby shampoo and the baby lotion and everything that we used on our kids, I was more focused on my kids than anything else. It made me angry. It made me angry at myself for not knowing better. It made me angry that because this is what someone told me, and it was a lady that lived in Athens, Georgia. She said, Jeff, she said, the toxins that people bring into their bodies because of the products they use on their kids, even when they're young, from birth. She said, by the time they're 2 years old, we've used so much products on kids, it's as if they had already started smoking. That was what she said. I don't know if that was an exaggeration or if it should have been said that way, but that hit me like a sledgehammer right between the eyes.
Yep.
Because it caused me to think, everybody needs to be informed.
It's true.
And then I became that evangelist around that story of no harmful ingredients, of informing people, to be that voice that informs people about the harmful ingredients that they're taking in on a daily basis. I mean, it's like, when I say an ongoing basis, on a daily basis,
Right.
that's a big deal, because you see, one cigarette don't give you cancer. One pack of cigarettes don't give you cancer. A carton of cigarettes don't give you cancer. But if you smoke them over and 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 over for years, you're in trouble. You know, the beauty of this that we're talking about right here, and we're getting off on tangents, but the thing is our industry has caused us to be very aware, not scientists, we're not scientists, but it's caused us to be a little bit more aware and more informed. And that's one of the things that happens when people get involved with this type of business, is before you know it, they're sitting around like we're doing right now, and they're having these conversations, and within a year, 2 years, 3 years time, they're speaking a different language.
You and Marcus are so passionate about your Energy Go that you got it on the Ferrari racing team in Europe. You're spreading it around America, but it's just one product. Why this product, and why launch with one product like this?
I helped formulate this product because I wanted to have a product that would do like a do-all product.
Okay.
And in all the years that I've been formulating products in the health and wellness side of our industry, I knew that from all those times that I've developed these products, you know, you realize how many times that I'll get through developing a product and I'll say, dang, I wish I'd have done this. I wish I would have put this in it, or I wish I would have put this variation of that ingredient in it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I didn't know about this polypeptide, or this polysaccharide, or this way of a delivery system to get it into your body then, and now I do, you know, and how can we improve? It's all about the improving. And I was with one family for many, many years in the industry, and the old man's favorite saying was, research the research. When we put the Energy Go together, a lot of people look at it as an energy drink. That's why it's called Energy Go. YNRG Go. And it's easy for a lot of people to promote it as an energy drink, because it obviously gives you energy. And it's good energy. It's long, smooth energy. It's not like you just drink one of our competitors that's out of the store coolers when you go in a convenience store. It's a healthy drink. There's only 15 calories in that whole serving.
Wow.
When and it does have some natural cane juice extract. It does. And it has stevia in it that gives it most of its sweetness. It has some berries and fruit in it that gives it some of the natural sugars that's in it. But it also has other ingredients in it. And when I say other ingredients, it has coffee berry. It has green tea extract. And it is loaded with vitamins, Troy. And the thing about the vitamins, most people, when they do anything with vitamins, it smells and tastes like vitamins. This don't smell and taste like vitamins. And the reason it doesn't, because most people, when they're using the vitamin C, they're putting a version of vitamin C in their product that smells and tastes terrible. It might short term be good for you, but the majority of the vitamin C's that are out there on the market, if you study it, if you take that kind of vitamin C long term, it is potential carcinogenic. Our product is an immune boost. It's an energy drink. It is a vitamin pack. It is a mineral pack. It's got vitacholine in it, which is phenomenal for women who are nursing. It's phenomenal for people who want to give their children a boost of mental clarity in their development years, and even adults in their mental game, to give them that edge. It also has white beet juice extract in it that allows the natural release in your body to be able to produce a natural nitrous oxide, which makes it a powerful drink to drink right before you go work out. Now, to me, working out is splitting wood or.
You got before workout, but you got electrolytes in here too.
And the vitamin C, by the way, I almost got away from that. The vitamin C comes from acerola cherry.
Really? I didn't know that.
And acerola cherry it's got more vitamin C than almost anything you can find. And not many people even know the power of acerola cherry. Acerola cherry is, if you look at it, it's not your typical beautiful round cherry. It's kind of a lumpy looking cherry, but it does give the flavor a little tartness, but not too much. But it doesn't add that nasty vitamin E taste to the drink.
Yeah, that
Because
makes
you
sense.
got a good tasting vitamin C infusion from acerola cherry and not from the kind of vitamin C's that are not good for you. And you know, vitamin C's, when you have a good high dose of vitamin C, it creates a natural, constant, everyday chelation therapy that's going through your body and helps to keep those arteries and veins clear.
Okay, I get you.
You know, there's so much to it. I could talk about this one product for hours. My background is definitely network marketing. I'm very proud to be able to say that I've had some of the largest teams in the industry. And but I'm not the one who will ever say that I'm the cause of that. Very careful of that. Everybody wants Jef Welch, myself, to let everybody know where I came from, what I did, what I've accomplished, what have you. To me, it's all about the team. It's all about the team, and it's not about what Jef Welch did. It's about Jef was fortunate to pick the right people and to keep everybody together. And over time, that turns into success that you can't get any other way. Is you got to have someone to be the coach of the ball team. That's the way I look at it.
You've got a good team in America too. You've got your logistics, you've got your manufacturer, you've got all this stuff. I've met these people. Some of them I call my friends. So I mean, you've got a good team, but you decided to get back to your roots, back to where you came from. Said, I'm going to leave this company from a ranch, and I'm going to go back to what I enjoy. That was a huge move. I mean, you know, you were outside the, you know, suburb of Atlanta is what I call it. It's probably a little further than a suburb, but now you're up here in the middle of nowhere, really enjoying life. I don't know if I've seen you smile as much in the last couple of years. I mean, you've just at it. Why make that move? Why decide to do this from there versus some big, you know, Dallas or Salt Lake City or something?
We obviously, during COVID, everyone outside our industry and inside of our industry started sending a lot of their executives and their corporate staff and their employees home to work.
That's true.
And so as we were launching the prototype of where we're at right now, we literally were announcing that we were launching 2 weeks before anyone heard the word COVID. So the timing was strange. The timing was extremely strange, and it caused a lot of people that had never worked from home to work from home for the very first time. Yeah. And we have a world now that if they didn't know what Zoom was, they know what it is now. People learn technology that they were forced to learn. And to me, I looked at the scenario and I thought, this is creating a lot of great potential network marketers in the future. I mean, it's just setting everyone up to understand, do I want to work from home? And a lot of people didn't want to go back to work when they could. When a lot of their companies said, come back to work, they didn't want to come back to work. It didn't necessarily change the scope of network marketing to a great extent because it caused a lot of competition in there. But I think it's going to cause a lot of growth over time because people can't now say, no, I don't want to work from home when they're working from home.
That's true.
I mean, you and I both know that there were more corporations established during COVID than there were before COVID because everyone was starting their own business from home.
Yeah.
So it was amazing what entrepreneurial spirit will do. So in regards to that, why did I come up here? In the process of everything, I had this ranch up here that you see behind me. I purchased it 22 years ago. And during the COVID scenario, at the end of that craziness, all the people from New York were coming down, and other places, but New York mainly, were coming down, buying everything they possibly could to get out of the state of New York, moving to Florida or Georgia. And the price of everything was going up in real estate in Georgia. So the house where I was at the golf course in Georgia sold. And then I was thinking, okay, I'm going to lease a place for a short period of time. Then I'm going to build in Georgia or something, you know. I couldn't find anything to lease. Everything was tied up. Everything was tied up. I would have had to go 3 counties away just to get a place, and it would have been an apartment. I didn't want to live in an apartment. So I moved to my ranch here. It was just me and my dog. So I just moved to my ranch here, and I just be honest with you, the first thing I did was pull the camper in and started construction on the cabin, and been piddling around a little bit at a time, finishing on the cabin, and I've been enjoying it. I enjoy nature. I enjoy the sunshine. I enjoy the cold. I enjoy the hot. I enjoy the water. I don't have a swimming pool here, but I've got 6 million gallon lake that I own right behind me here.
Because we are so close, there are times when you're just out there in the woods and you'll call, and I just get to see the beauty of the land. I get to see you just sharing the glory of God, if you will, on that land. And that, to me, man, on my worst days, that I can still go back and grab those videos you've sent me, and I mean, it makes a big difference, man.
I didn't realize how much stress I was under until I had moved up here. And then about 3 months after being here, it was like it dawned on me how much stress that I was under, because I started changing.
Yeah.
I could feel a major transitional change take place after I've been here about 3 months. Is there stress? There's still stress. There's always stress when you're in business. There's stress in life. Everybody has stress. I don't even mind this being on a video. It's fine when I say this. I went through a major breakup, went through a divorce, about 5 years ago almost. And a lot of people don't realize that when you go through a divorce like that you go through just as much of a withdrawal as if somebody is getting off of a drug.
Yeah, that's true, man.
Especially when you live by your heart like you do and I do.
Yeah.
And I'm not ashamed to say this, so I'll just say it. I went through probably one of the worst moments in my life of withdrawal that was happening while we were launching this company. And when I moved up here, about 3 months after getting here, it was like things started settling. I didn't quit working. I didn't quit making things happen. I didn't quit making decisions. I didn't quit moving forward. I mean, I've done everything like I was supposed to do, but emotionally speaking, it has been one of the greatest things ever for me to move here, to be grounded in nature, to be surrounded by peace. I mean, don't listen. You can't even hear a car.
I know. It's great.
Listen. Now, occasionally a car go by, but I know it's 2 or 3 miles away. And if you're in a busy place where you live, it's amazing how the louder things are, the less you can hear. But the beauty of having Wi-Fi, I'm talking to you on a video call right now. I can do the same thing with people in Germany, or people in Hungary, or people in Bulgaria, or people in Japan, or people in Russia, or people in Florida. I can talk to people no matter where they're at from right here on my mountain. And if I ever get to the point where I just I just need to shut off. If I get too far away from my cabin, then I don't have the Wi-Fi, but I've got about 2 miles of road here on my property that I can walk around and listen to the waterfalls, or listen to the birds, or listen to the leaves crackle under my feet. The closer we get to the chaos, the more destructive it is to our peace. And the more destructive it is to our peace, the less we can hear God.
Yeah.
And I think I'd reached a point, no matter how much I believe in God, I think I'd reached a point before I came here that all the things I had gone through in life had reached a point that it was so noisy, even though it could have been silent, physically speaking. But the emotions were so noisy that I reached a point where when I prayed, I didn't feel like I could even pray anymore. I didn't feel like I could touch God anymore. I didn't think I could hear him or him hear me. And but since being here, that's changed.
You've heard from Jef. You've been able to totally hear about his heart, about what his passion's about this new product that they've launched, and about the company. But more than that, you've heard about him. You've heard where his heart is. You've heard about the love that he has for the land. So I think that if somebody's out there looking for a business, I can tell you right now, you need to call Jef Welch. Don't call me, but call Jef Welch. Talk to him. If you're interested, and this may be even more than the business, if you're in a position right now where you're saying, man, that's me. I'm stressed to the max. I can't see the stars because of the bright lights. I can't hear nature. I can't even hear my own thoughts. You might want to call Jef too and talk to him, because without a doubt, what you see is what you get. He will take the time. He'll talk to you from the heart. And if you apply what you learn, you'll be able to start getting a little bit more comfort, a little bit more Sabbath in your life, if you will, instead of the chaos that you're always listening. So thanks for tuning in. This is one of our new interviews. We'll be doing some more. Live life like it's an epic adventure. Stay dangerous, stay strong. And if you're a home-based business, act like it.